Funny thing I've heard you mention before is that you get a lot of weird pickup lines for being a female fighter. So I'm just curious, what's the weirdest one you've ever received?
Oh gosh. Yeah, that there's just so many of them. Honestly, like every single day, like I get either in the comments or like you have the message request box, whereas like it just sends people who you don't follow into there, and just every single day you're getting something else that just I'm shocked by. I'm like, what do they have in their mind that they think like this is gonna work?
They're like, if I write type this up right, maybe she'll like it or something like
But
that.
it's like even like people are just like, oh, choke me or punch me or like let me fight you. I'm like, are you trying to like how are you trying to get my attention?
Yeah, that's weird that people actually think those. I feel bad for people who actually would think that line actually would work.
Oh yeah, and I like even when it comes to like haters too, people writing on Instagram, like I don't even have time to write stuff like that on other people's Instagram. So
Yeah.
like, why do you?
So I mean, I've watched your fights, and obviously you're an awesome fighter. And I noticed that your walkout song is P.I.M.P by 50 Cent. So why'd you choose that song?
I honestly, first time I walked out to it as amateur a couple times, and I just thought it was funny for it's pretty like unsuspecting of me to walk out to
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and now it's like honestly, it gets me like it's just I feel like it's so used. I relate it to that moment so much. I relate it to the walkout so much that every time I hear it, it just gets me pumped. It gets me in that vibe where it's just time to perform. So whenever I hear it now, it's just like it gets me going, and I feel like I'm a pimp.
Is there a song that you usually listen to like before you actually come out to that walkout song? Do you listen to any other music or something else to pump you up?
I'm all about being in my own mind and just being focused and relaxed. So I'm sitting there and focusing on my breathing more than anything, trying to be in the moment and just take it in and just, yeah, not think about the past or the future, just be there and be present.
And when you work out or do your trainings, do you usually have a like a playlist of music that you usually like working out to?
We usually got Dean's playlist going on in the background, which is a lot of Big L.
Big L, wow, I haven't heard of Big L in a while. I believe it was a few weeks ago, but you recently had a fight with Courtney Casey that was actually without an audience due to the whole quarantine situation. So, do you feel any different from not having an audience in person when you fought?
Oh, 100%. It like it's almost like awkwardly chill in there. Like you're in a fist fight with someone, but it's like it was just so relaxed in there. Like just because there wasn't the fans screaming and there wasn't as much anxiety because of all of that. And like even after I won, like I felt awkward celebrating. Like I'm like, like okay, there's nobody else cheering or anything. Like what am I doing?
So do you feel like you need that crowd to like cheer, like either cheer for you or pump you up, even if it's saying negative things? Like it's something, at least like someone's driving you to, work harder or faster.
I don't I think I almost prefer it with no crowd. Just like I said, I like to be able to think a lot in there, and that's usually how I win my fights. But and the crowd can be a little bit of a just an extra distraction, you know. So the less distractions, the better you can perform.
Oh, that's cool. Well, and in this fight, you actually beat Ronda Rousey's record for most submissions by a female. So I'm just curious, did you do anything to celebrate that big feat?
No, after like I just think about it fight by fight. Winner. So many people in the fighting game they say you win or you learn, and I'm like, no matter what, if you win, you should learn. If you lose, you should learn. And I don't want to take too much out of each victory. So I'm just trying to get better until I am the best in the world. So I try not to dwell too much on victories or dwell too much on losses. Just try to move to the next one.
Do you have like a post-game routine that you usually do after every fight?
Uh, Nothing specific. This time it was a box of pizza and a joint by the pool. So that
Nice.
was about it.
What kind of pizza?
We actually accidentally ordered a 30-inch pizza because we didn't realize how big that would be.
Hmm.
And that's like double the size of large. Like that was
Yeah,
huge.
yeah,
So, yeah, we ordered a 30-inch cheese pizza by accident.
yeah. Right, that's a good post game meal. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely put that weight back on.
Yeah. And you're like I know you're amazing at jujitsu, and I mean on the ground that's when you really get your opponents. So, is there a fighting move that you haven't really mastered yet that you would like to try to master someday?
Um, I guess the nothing specific. I Everybody's game is tailored different to how their body works, you know? So it's like there's a lot of things that I'm like, oh, that's really cool that I'll probably never be able to pull off just because like I have short legs or I have, just like different ways that our
Right.
bodies are built. So I have my game that's fairly pretty much tailored to me. So I guess I'm just sharpening my skills at this point and making less mistakes.
Hmm. And well, and since you're featherweight, and you have to drop weight for your fights, do you? I know you have to usually limit the foods that you have to eat. So once you've actually completed a fight, is there certain foods that you're like, okay, finally, I can eat this again?
Bread. Just
Bread.
so much bread because like that's the first thing I cut when I cut weight is I have to cut out bread, and then after just anything with bread on it, like if it's pizza or burgers or any even just bread itself, I love it.
Oh man, like yeah, I can see like just waking up to a good bagel after like a day after your fight. Yeah, that would be
Oh
good.
my gosh, it's so nice.
Oh yeah. Is it because bread just builds up a lot of weight?
Yeah, just carbs in general. I try to
Oh, okay.
minimize, and even then, I'm trying to just do healthy carbs. And at that, it's like I'm usually doing carbs every other day. So I'm just trying to cut carbs. It's just mostly fruit. Well, a little bit of fruit, a lot of vegetables, and a lot of meat.
Or you always say something in your postings, and you mention in the interviews that you're always looking to fight the next person. You just want to fight it as much as you can and to get so much experience. And I'm just curious if there are, in regards to retired fighters, whether it's male or female out there, who would you have liked to fight in their prime?
Oh, um, that's a tough question. Uh, there's oh, honestly a girl that she's probably the one that I would love to train with more than anything. We're different weight classes, so the fight's probably never going to happen. But we're both active in the UFC right now. Would be Rose Namajunas,
Hmm.
who literally since day one when I was an amateur, she was on the Tough Show, the 150, the Ultimate Fighter 115-pound girls,
Yeah.
and I was just like. I fell in love with her style. She's just always going for the kill, always trying to like. She's slick on her back. She's good on the feet. She can move well, and I've just always really looked up to her. And yeah, I don't think that fight would ever happen. Like I said, we're different weight classes, but I would love to share the mats with her one day.
And you mentioned that you love her style. So do you have a certain style of your own that you know that's really different from other fighters?
Oh, 100%. Uh, I feel like it's attributed to Dean Thomas. Like his mind just works in different ways, and he's created a style that works for me. And it's I feel like he's really. It's like he's trying to change the game. Like nobody's seen the shit that I do before. Nobody knows how. Like people look at my choke and they're like, "Oh, she didn't even have the hooks in. How did she finish it?" And it's because we're innovating the game. We're taking steps that nobody else has taken before, and I feel like it's really going to show over these next couple years.
And you mentioned your coach Dean Thomas a lot. What would you say is the best advice he's ever given to you while fighting?
While fighting, he usually lets me think a lot for myself. So it's
Hmm.
like in the corner, he's usually not screaming too much, not saying too much. He's just letting he trusts me. He knows that we put in the work, and he's letting it play out. Like I in most of my fights, I can tell you everything that he said to me because it's only like one or two things. Like
Yeah,
he's very quiet in the corner just because he trusts my ability.
that's cool. And so, do you have any fights coming up?
Uh, I'm hoping for one. Right now, I possibly had fight news this week. Then they just got back to me yesterday saying that the other girl said no. So I don't have fight news anymore. But August 30th, I will be competing on Submission Underground. I was supposed to do it last week, 2 weeks ago, I think, and then the whole COVID situation came up, so I
Mhm.
wasn't able to travel. But August 30th, it'll be on UFC Fight Pass.
Okay, that's awesome. And so, Jillian, we're at a recurring segment in this podcast called Name Your Bio. So, this question is if you could have an autobiography about your life, what would it be called and why?
impulsive choices because I feel like that's how I get everywhere in my life. It's like people always ask me why you started MMA. I'm like, I have no clue. I'm pretty sure it's just like an impulsive choice. I was just like, yeah, let's do it. And then people ask me why I dyed my hair red. I'm like, I have no idea why. I just was like, yeah, why not? But it's led me to a lot of good places. So I'm happy with my impulsive choices.
No, I like it. You follow the beat to your own drum. No, it's an impulse choice that, obviously has led you to such a great career.